Hi everyone. Before we commence the first segment to the fourth webinar series, can you spend some time to check in with yourself or with others in a group, if you're in a group setting?
Is there any feedback, ideas, reflections, further ponderings, challenges from what you have engaged in throughout this webinar series? You're more than welcome to contact Dale and I with any feedback, ideas. We'd love to hear from you. So you can now pause the webinar, take some time to reflect. Again, as Dale mentioned, if in the group, share amongst yourselves. Might want to use a whiteboard or just write down some ideas on personal reflection. If joining us individually, you might want to email us as well and write down some of your ideas, some of the takeaways from the last 3 webinar series.
We will now delve into exploring some post-structuralist ideas around therapy.
Thanks, Dale. Michel Foucault, who we'll hear about later on in this segment, was quite prominent, I guess, in Michael White and David Epstein's ideas around narrative therapy, unpacking the idea of knowledge as power. Any thoughts on the slide that is presented, apart from his cool presentation of Foucault? And any thoughts on the idea that none of us are passive recipients of power? Foucault argues that one cannot escape power without achieving complete solitude or total enslavement. Power is not something that individuals can or cannot escape. It is the intricate web of constraining interrelationships that exists, if that makes sense. The movement there is more than one agent. So there's two. It's always two ways, isn't it? Think about that. The point is that there cannot be interaction among individuals outside of power. Power is not something that is acquired, seized, or shared, because it is ever present in the environment of which human beings are subjects and agents. If that makes sense. What are your thoughts on this? Please pause the webinar and take some time to reflect. As a group, you may want to share amongst yourselves. Individually, you may just want to jot down some ideas or share with a work colleague later. Please take the time now. As you can see on the scale, what does it mean to be mentally well or unwell? If we look at the broader context of my work with Dale and others that you consult with in your own work context. Please take some time to reflect on some of these ideas posed on the slide. Though we have been centering the conversation around sexual violence and Dale's lived experiences, we often see presenting mental health effects from a person's experiences of sexual abuse. Who would agree? How do we position ourselves when exploring these presenting problems in someone's life? Are they located internally? Almost suggesting there is something wrong with the person? Or can we see these problems as socially and culturally constructed?
As an adult, I've gone through many dark times where I haven't been myself, diagnosed with depression, anxiety, PTSD, anorexia, labelled with being Rizdale's bumboy, gay, liar, scum, filthy, and uneducated. Yet before the abuse, I was carefree, happy, loved, and accepted.
We're not suggesting that a diagnosis is necessarily a negative thing, as it can be quite useful and almost normalising. if we know we are not the only one experiencing certain symptoms. For example, yet arguably these diagnoses can be potentially labeling and aren't the full story of someone's life. Is it then therefore useful to deconstruct these ideas around mental illness? Please take some time amongst yourselves as a group to share, if you'd like, or individually, jot down some ideas.